This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of WPSL. WPSL does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WPSL. Now it's time for Coffee at the Cabana, presented by the Cabana at Jensen Dunes. And now, here's your host.
Good morning. We made it back.
We did. We had so much fun, we had to come back again and do it.
Welcome, everybody, to Coffee at the Cabana. I'm Joe Decarlo, Director of Marketing and Sales at the Cabana at Jensen Dunes. And
I'm Jennifer Lussier'Fontaine, the Activities Director over at the Cabanas.
And we are located in Jensen Beach at 1537 Northeast Cedar Street in Jensen Beach, 34957. Our phone number there at the Cabanas, if you'd like to come by and schedule a tour, 772-332-1000, or you can email me even throughout the show. My email address is jdecarlo, DECARLO, at jensendunes.com. Jen, we made it back.
We did. Did Barbara come and pick up her prize?
She did not. So, Barbara, if you're out there listening,
you got to come pick it up.
We've been waiting for you all week to come in.
Right. We had your table setting set, and you haven't come yet.
Bring a guest. Today, we're also going to do a trivia question later in the show. It really is not going to have much to do with what we're talking about, but maybe it will.
Well, it does.
So today we're going to talk about the five senses.
Very important.
Do you know what they are, Jen?
I believe I do.
Go ahead and tell them what they are.
I think that they're taste, hearing, smelling, seeing, and touching. It's all very important when you walk into, an assisted living. Those five things are very important.
That's right. That's what, when people ask me what to look for when they go into an assisted living for a tour or a skilled nursing facility or really any place, I always say use your five senses, seeing, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to do, and you too, is get into the five senses. The first one is seeing. And why do you think that's so important?
Well, when you walk into a place, what you see is, what do they say? First impressions are lasting.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, right.
That's right. And that's very important. You can, when you pull into the parking lot, you look at a facility, the parking lot tells you a lot about the facility. Is the parking lot clean? Is the outside clean? Is the doorway clean? Is the grass cut? Are the trees trimmed? Bushes trimmed? And then when you walk into the building, you're going to see right away as to what the building has to offer.
Right. And when you walk into our place, that's as soon as you walk in, boom, it's beautiful when you walk in. There's so many things to see when you come in the door that you want to see the rest.
And we always say at our place is the receptionist is perhaps the most important job for a marketer. That first impression for that receptionist is key. How do you get greeted? What does the receptionist area look like? Is it kept up? What does the receptionist look like? Then as you go throughout your tour, you're looking around, you see the residents. Are they happy? Are they clean?
Do they look good?
Is the building clean? You can tell right away, are the floors clean? Are the walls clean? So these are all things that you'll look for when you're taking a tour of a facility, even a skilled nursing facility.
I would say anywhere you might spend time or money.
Right.
Exactly
Any
right.
place that you're,
Exactly right. Even a hotel.
I mean, do you want to be, shopping in a place that you're afraid to touch anything?
Right.
You probably should,
That's right.
keep your eyes open and.
That's right. And you can see, look around, keep your eyes and see what's going on in the building. Are the nurses, what are they doing? What are the CNAs doing?
Do the residents look happy?
Do the residents look happy? What's the kitchen staff doing?
Are they engaged? Are they doing things? And
Very true. And the second one is smell.
Smell. It does smell good at our place, I have to say. As soon as you walk in, it smells like a bakery.
It does, because of our sandbar and where it's located.
Yeah, and I was working the sandbar on Friday, and it was so hard because, I had to keep the cookies and the scones going all day long, and You have to have willpower if you're working there because these cookies were huge. Did you see them that I was making?
They are. They're
And it
special.
smells so good, and it goes all the way down the hallways.
And then as you're walking through the building or wherever you are, the facility, smell. Does it smell clean? Or again, there's none of that. We call it bad odor smell. And that all comes into play with housekeeping. Is there housekeeping staff that keeps the facility clean? One thing that we don't like to do is leave our dirty laundry laying around because dirty laundry tends to make the building smell. And that should be anywhere. Again, smell clean even when you go outside. There shouldn't be any odors outside from the dumpster, from anything. So that's the two senses that are very important to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So should we get into the trivia, or are we still our number here, if you have any questions, is 772-340-1590. And I'm going to say the trivia question, okay?
Sure.
It was in the news this week, so some of you might already know this. How many different flavors of Oreo cookies are there?
OMG.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
That made the news.
It was. Somebody did a survey.
Well, we just had National Oreo Day at our
Yeah,
place.
I think that's why.
And I had like 12 packages of Oreos, and there's still some left over in my office, which I'm trying not to
I'll be
touch.
down there to
But
get some
yeah,
today.
that's terrible.
Oreos
There's
are
so
my
many
favorite.
different kinds. I didn't even realize that they had so many. I know growing up they had one,
Yeah.
just regular Oreos.
And not even double stuff.
Right, those are so good.
There are a lot now. I don't know if you know the answer to that.
I do
but,
not know the answer to
But
that.
I do.
Oh.
And, I heard it on the news this
So
week.
guesses are welcome.
Guesses are welcome. Yep. Give us a call, 340-1590, and questions too, pertaining to anything. If you have a loved one that's in the hospital now, a friend or whatever, and you're thinking of either a rehab, skilled nursing, or an assisted living, we can try to answer. We usually do. We have a lot of knowledge here, so we can come up with the answer for that. So the third, we'll go back to our tour. We're on our tour, and the third sense is hearing.
Hearing. That's important.
When you come into our place, one of the things you're going to hear at the Sandbar at 3:30 is
A lot of singing and a lot of laughing, a lot of talking. Just this past Friday, we had a great time in our sandbar, and I sang for the whole hour, and it was packed. There had to be like at least 20, 25 people in the sandbar. There was family members, there was residents, and we just had a great time. They really enjoy coming to happy hour. It seems that all the residents make sure that they're down there at 3:30, and they're all talking to one another, and they all enjoy that hour.
a lot of laughing going on. Just a good time. You could listen.
And
for
it goes
that.
by so fast. That
does.
hour flies by. I feel
does.
bad sometimes that we have to say, all right,
And that's
wrap it
every
up.
day.
Every day.
Every day at 3:30.
Except Sunday. Sunday's a little bit laid back, but they still all congregate at 3:30. There might not be music going on like it does during the week, but there's always something happening up front. So
And the other thing to listen to, again, when you're walking the hallways doing your tour, how is the staff communicating to the residents? Are they nice to the residents? Are they, some of them, not at our place, but are they being mean to the residents? You'll be able to tell. Are they being sarcastic to the residents? One thing we do, I know when I take a tour or doing a tour, which I love, is our staff will greet that person that I'm touring. They'll say hello to them. Our maintenance guy, Jose, is great for stopping and and talking to them. Jennifer stops and talks. The nurses, whoever. That's something that you want to look for and to participate in.
I think everybody at our place is pretty much friendly. We all enjoy being around people, so. All right, Joe, you have a caller.
It looks as though that's an answer for your trivia question, or at least a guess.
There we go. Is it Cullen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hi, Cullen. How are you?
I think I remember last week. Is it 29?
You got it.
29? All right.
First
All
winner.
right.
There you go. So what you win is a song by Jennifer. No.
Oreos, free Oreos.
There you go.
Well,
Nope.
yeah, Jennifer might have some of those too.
We'd like you to come by to pick up your prize. It's actually a Cabana bag, we call it, and it's full with a Cabana mug, Tervis tumbler. What else? We have Cabana pens and also
good.
lunch for 2. So we'd like
Oh,
you to
wow.
come by and have lunch on us and enjoy our food.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll put you in. You can come by any day, and we look forward to seeing you. And we're located at 1537 Northeast Cedar Street in Jensen
Okay.
Beach, 34957. You head east on Jensen Beach Boulevard, south on Savannah Road, and then east on Cedar Street, and we're at the end on the left.
And Cullen, if you really want to impress us, can you name all 29?
Yeah.
Not really.
I could probably name one.
I was kidding.
True. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
That is a lot of Oreos. 29.
Yeah. Wow.
There's a new
29
one out,
flavor.
and it's a cinnamon Oreo. I didn't try it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would be.
I don't know. I
Cinnamon.
just go with the double
How
stuff.
can you dunk that in milk?
Double stuff
Cinnamon.
is the best.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, going back to the hearing, I think that's where we were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you take the tour. You hear different sounds. Some
What shouldn't you hear?
You shouldn't hear arguing. You shouldn't hear,
residents,
negativity.
residents complaining.
Right.
Some places you do. You shouldn't hear nurses being mean to the residents.
Okay, because I mean, there are folks who are in other facilities, and they should be looking for
Very
these
true.
things as well.
Yep, even
Right.
when you're visiting, that's true. It stems back to a whole dignity, your dignity, the residents' dignity.
Respect. That's
respect.
key.
You know, if you walk in the hall and you see a resident ask a nurse something or a coworker something, and see how they respond. You know, how are they answering that person back?
I like to hear when the residents themselves are talking with each other amongst themselves. We have a lot of residents now that have formed friendships with other residents.
Well, they're neighbors, right?
Yeah, and
They're
it's so
neighbors.
nice. Like the other day, I was walking down the hall, and one resident's door was open, and she had one of her friends from down the hall, and they were just, sitting by her. Each one of them had in her recliner in her room, and they were just talking it up, and
Can you hear that?
yeah, and they were laughing, and it's just nice to know that
And,
they've formed friendships.
Sometimes I catch a resident will talk to the person I'm touring
Okay.
and give them a overview of the place. And don't ever be afraid to ask a resident a question. We don't mind.
And we have a couple residents that don't mind you showing their rooms.
Yes.
Because some of their rooms are really beautiful, the
Yeah.
way that they've decorated them, and they smell nice. I know one resident has a room, when you walk by and her door is shut, she has these air fresheners in her room that it comes out from underneath the door. And so that's a great
They
room.
do grab them and say, "Come on, I'll show you my room."
Yep.
That's a big thing too. And when you're in that room, you see is it clean? The whole thing. How does it smell? You know, what are you hearing in the room? What's it look like?
Or how comfortable they live.
How
You know, if
comfortable.
they're comfortable. Yeah.
Yep.
Because we're basically doing all that. We're cleaning the room. We're taking care of them. We're doing their laundry,
Making sure they're happy.
making sure they're happy, and those are all good signs that you can look for. The fourth one is taste.
Taste. Yummy.
How do we get into the taste?
Well, we've got Chef Kevin. He's got some good food that comes out of that dining room.
Ask for lunch.
Ooh.
Ask for when you call to schedule a tour. Can I come for lunch? We'd like to try the food, and then a good way to try it is to ask for lunch and even dinner. I've been known to stay and have dinner with some of them too.
So come take the tour, ask for lunch, and come back for dinner.
And another thing with us is our chef loves to come out and talk about his food.
Yep.
I always tell people the two things he likes to do is cook and talk about it. And
And that he does, because I always see him in the dining room talking to some resident.
Now, what if you have a resident that may have like difficulty eating certain things? Are there foods that are specially prepared for
Yep.
those residents?
we accommodate their diets.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. That's done by the chef. One day we're going to have the chef on. I think when we do
Yeah, I
a
think that
remote
would be fun.
in our office, we'll have him come on and he can explain all that. But yep, we accommodate their diets. We have some people on Healthy Heart, so it's no salt added.
Or if somebody just wants a milkshake,
Milkshake.
they can get that.
hmm
You know.
Vegetarians, we have that. We had a gentleman he needed a lot of spinach, raw spinach. So we went out and bought a bunch of raw spinach, and he gets his raw spinach now. So, yep, we do accommodate.
I know they're always talking about the desserts. And on Friday, I sat at a table in the dining room, and there's a couple ladies that they're trying to watch, what they eat. But they say it's very hard because when they see the choices for the desserts, they can't say no. So I know that some of them can't say no to those desserts, and they do look good. I mean, everything looks good that comes out of there,
And it's throughout the day, because at the Sandbar we're cooking cookies all day
And bread.
And so it's all those things for the taste, and don't be afraid to ask for these things. If you're on a tour and you ask and you feel like you're bothering the person, then guess what? You don't want to go to that place.
Okay.
Because if you're just bothering the sales and marketing guy, imagine what the rest of the staff is going to be
Right.
like.
Well, like we mentioned last week, customer service, it all goes back to that. We're there for the people that we support. So we try to go above and beyond with anything that they might ask for.
And the fifth sense, again, is touch. And how that falls into the tour. In our place, we have a lot of outdoor patios. We have handrails. Grab that handrail and rub your hand across it. If it's clean, if nothing's coming up, then you know it's clean. The outdoor patios, we have glass top tables. When you go, I take everybody outside. I show them the patios. Touch the table. If it's clean, no dirt, and it's very hard to do because it's windy. I mean,
I'm
think
thinking
about it at
like
home.
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And we
yeah.
do. When you go into a model, touch it and see if it's dusty or not, or things like that. So those are the senses to look for on your tour.
They're all important. All 5 of them. When you walk into our place, I think hearing for me is the most important thing. I like to hear laughing. I like to hear people talking, and there's always music playing, house music when you walk in. And the reception area, they try to make sure that the music that's playing is age appropriate for our folks. So that when you walk in, there's a lot of Frank Sinatra or Tony Bennett.
There's no rap going on.
There's no rap music. There's no. But
Maybe in the future.
Maybe, right? Maybe with our generation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When we get into that. But that's just it. When you tour, again, we're going to talk about the touring a lot. Just ask. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. I sit and people tell me, well, this might be a dumb question. Well, no, it's not, especially if it's your first time around. There is no dumb questions.
Who comes for the tour? Is it the resident? Is it the family? Is it a little of both? I mean, do you get couples that come in and go, we're getting a little too old to handle
We do.
day-to-day
those are the
together?
best
Okay.
because that means that the person knows that they're ready for assisted living. Usually it's family members, spouses, if the person's in the hospital or in a rehab.
Okay.
Doctors.
Okay.
there's been a few times where I've seen 5-6 chairs in your office, where they brought the whole family, which
Yeah.
is good because if that was me, I would want for my whole, family to see what we were stepping into.
It's a big change.
Yeah.
You're changing the course of your life. I mean, you're moving out of your current resident if they're in a condo or a home, and they're moving.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I always, when it's just a family member and not the person or the mom and dad, and they say, well, we're going to make the decision, and I say, no. I say, bring them in here. Let them make the decision. Let you guys pick maybe 3 places. And, they say it's too much for them to go around. Okay, well, you pick 3 places, but bring them to show them where they're going to, what
Yeah,
you're
I
thinking.
would have to wonder if they say, well, it's too much for them to come see. I wonder if they even know.
Right, right.
Do they know they're moving?
That's always my
Yeah.
first question. Do they know you're
Okay.
looking? 50-50.
Okay.
50-50 yes and 50-50 no. And I'm like, oh, okay. The no one's kind of,
Yeah.
I get worried about
Sure.
a little about. But it's usually, and family, friends. We have friends, people that don't have family close by. They'll send their friends out. We have a gentleman that sent his friend and then sent another friend and then another friend.
So the advice for somebody who has maybe an elderly parent, if you're thinking that your parent is getting to a point where they do need a little bit of help, you should include them.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, this isn't really, because brothers and sisters could get together and make these decisions for mom or dad and it not be
Right.
Right.
they may not
Right.
be ready
And it is
or
overwhelming.
resentful.
Yeah, and it is overwhelming. But, include them, let them make the final decision. Because as I always say, it's their home.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my home. It's not your home. It's their home.
Right.
They have to be comfortable. And if they're not, then it's not good.
And I think that's what a lot of our staff remember going through their days is that is the resident's home, and we're in their home. So, our respect level really is high because that's where they live, not us, like
right.
you said. So,
It has to be.
Right.
It's just, again, if they want something, they ask for it. With us, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an activity we're not doing, we mentioned it last week. Jennifer gets it, and she does it.
So nobody's saying, oh, okay, and then never coming back.
No, they better not. No. Right?
right.
And then we always say, come to one of us as a department
Uh-huh.
head. If you're not, the nurse is the front line. Always. That's who they know. That's who's taking care of
Okay.
them. They're the front, even for the family. And then if the nurse can't handle it, she'll come to one of us for each department as to what we do.
Well, look, on Friday, we had a resident that needed to get down to Walgreens last minute, and I was singing in the sandbar, and my driver was already out, so I came to you and I said, hey, Joe, so-and-so has to get to Walgreens. She just needs to get one thing. Can you take her? And you're like, yeah, no problem. You jumped in the car and you took her.
Let's
and,
go to Walgreens.
Yeah.
And she was so like, oh,
Yeah.
Joe's taking me? She was so happy to go out with you. Like, she thought it was a privilege and an honor to be out with you,
But that's the kind of stuff we do. I mean, whoever can do it, we do it.
We try to go out of our way every chance we can.
And you'd like to think other places do the same.
But you know that not every
No.
in any profession, not every location is equal.
Right.
Right.
It's
Everybody's
There's
different.
always one that rises above.
Yes. We like to think that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we do a good job with trying to make everybody happy to the best of our ability.
And you're listening to Coffee at the Cabana. Do you want to take a news break?
Sure.
We've got like a minute. Let us know the location of the
It's at
Cabana?
1537 Northeast Cedar Street in Jensen Beach. Come by, take a tour. You can call, set up a tour, whatever you'd like. East on Jensen Beach Boulevard, south on Savannah Road, and east on Cedar Street.
Now, you've got an upcoming event as well.
We do, Friday.
Well, you've got a lot of upcoming events, actually, come
We
to
do.
think of it. But the next one coming is,
St. Patty's Day.
and you'll talk more about that when we come back?
We
Yeah.
will.
Wonderful.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break for the news right here on WPSL. You're listening to Coffee at the Cabana, presented by the Cabana at Jensen Dunes in Jensen Beach.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
FNN News, I'm Deborah Roberts. The annual session of the Florida legislature is through, but they had to go into overtime to finish the job. Lawmakers held a rare Sunday session in Tallahassee to wrap up the budget and tax bills and then call it quits. Governor Rick Scott says the most important thing they did this session was listen to the parents of Parkland.
We came together and passed historic legislation to make our schools safer, to make sure that we have more mental health counselors, to make sure that those struggling with mental illness no longer have access to a gun.
The Parkland parents say the school safety law is just a first step. In the meantime, the National Rifle Association is suing the state of Florida, saying the new law raising the minimum age to buy a gun to 21 infringes on some people's right to bear arms. Congressman Ron DeSantis, a Republican running for governor, agrees that it may violate the Second Amendment. He told Fox News that there's no precedent for a blanket ban based on age. Governor Rick Scott says he still supports the NRA, but their lawsuit against the school safety plan is going to fail.
You know, I'm an interim member. I'm going to remain there, interim member. I'm going to fight for the Second Amendment, but I'm going to fight to make sure that our kids are safe in this state.
House Speaker Richard Corcoran and Senate President Joe Negron both say the new law is not illegal or unconstitutional. The judge in the trial of the Pulse gunman's widow expects to have a jury selected today. 12 jurors and 6 alternates will be chosen from the jury pool of 55. Noor Salman is accused of obstruction of justice and aiding and abetting her husband's attack at the Orlando nightclub in June 2016 that killed 49 people and injured dozens more. WFTV reports federal prosecutors filed a motion yesterday asking the judge to admit into evidence portions of 911 calls made by 2 hostages in a Pulse bathroom and police radio transmissions. With news on the Florida News Network, I'm Deborah Roberts.
With more than 66,000 students, UCF is the biggest university in Florida and one of the biggest in the nation. But being big is more than just a number. It means that we think big and dream bigger. We seek challenges and push boundaries. We encourage innovation and invite the impossible. So while UCF is big in size, our impact is even bigger. Learn more at ucf.edu/big.
Hey y'all, it's Bubba and Cooter. At Gatorland, there's more gators, more animals, and more fun than ever before. Visit with our 4 giant white gators and our white gator swamp. Plus bobcats and Florida Panthers. Not to mention great shows like the world-famous Gator Jumperoo Show. And don't forget your swim trunks for the Gator Gully Splash Park. And Florida residents get in for only $14.99 with a valid Florida ID now through the end of March. For more information, call 407-855-5496 or go to Gatorland.com.
A new survey says nearly half of Americans are losing sleep because of work-related stress or issues. Bill Driscoll from the staffing firm Account Temp says employers need to be looking out for signs of burnout and fatigue before good employees jump ship.
You need to be looking for signs of stress and overwork. You need to be looking at your work culture. And I think with unemployment as low as it is right now, you want to be re-recruiting your best employees because replacing them is going to be very, very hard in such a low unemployment environment.
Driscoll says one of the easiest ways to preserve work-life balance is to keep the cell phone muted and far away from where you sleep. Displaced Puerto Ricans may have an easier time adjusting to Central Florida thanks to a church's recent effort. Orlando's Iglesia Episcopal Jesus de Nazareth held a job and health fair yesterday. Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy tells the Orlando Sentinel she would like FEMA to extend a temporary voucher program that would allow evacuees to stay here while they try to find permanent housing. I'm Deborah Roberts.
Half a person in the...
You're listening to Coffee at the Cabana on WPSL, presented by the Cabana at Jensen Dunes. Senior living that's different from the rest. Now back to your host.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to you, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We talked about what to look for when we take a tour of a facility.
Use your senses.
Use your senses. That's it. Yeah, use your senses.
Very important.
And that can be carried out into real life too, or out anywhere you go.
Oh, I think it's smart. Even if you're just going shopping.
That's right.
If you roll into the parking lot and there's trash in the parking lot, you might want to second guess whether or not you're going in.
I would.
Like a
I
restaurant.
definitely would.
Same thing.
Another thing that we like to do at the Cabanas is party.
Oh, we're always having parties.
Constant parties. So, Jennifer, tell us what we have coming up.
Well, one of the things we have is Under the Stars. It's a Starry Night event. It's on the 22nd of this month from 6 to 8. And what that is we're going to be outside in one of our courtyards, which we call Mallory Square. And it'll be all decorated with outside lights. And we're going to have a dessert bar, just desserts. And there'll be music, so we'll have dancing outside as well under the stars. So we're looking forward to that. Another thing, too, we have coming up is Janie's Trunk Show on the 15th, and that's at 2 o'clock. And that's something I'm trying now. It's a little different for the residents, where this person is coming in with all kinds of different articles of clothing, pocketbooks, accessories, and it's all affordable for our residents. And she'll set up shop right in front of your office, and she'll have a couple big tables, and it's more or less, for those that can't go out or don't really want to go out, this lady will bring everything to us. And I've heard a lot of good things about this. So I'm really looking forward. I think the residents are really going to enjoy that. So that's two of the things that we've got coming up.
And all of our events, the community is invited.
Absolutely.
Tell them.
And then we've got a big one coming up this Friday, and that's our St. Patty's Day celebration. So that starts at 2. So it's from 2 to 4. We'll have entertainment. We'll have a lot of Irish food, some music. We'll have green beer. And I'm hoping that everybody wears all their green. I know I'll have green from head to toe. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
If you'd like to come to any of these events, we ask that you RSVP at our phone number, 772-332-1000, so that we know how much food to make and how much beer to buy.
And we always have good parties. We have great turnouts. And getting into the summer soon, we're going to have a lot more pool parties because we've got that beautiful pool in the back.
Planning on another 4th of July party, Father's
Day
Day
party. Carnival coming up.
Carnival's coming up in April.
That's another big to-do.
So these are all things that we do. And when you, again, going back to the whole tour thing, the theme for the day, ask to see an activities calendar. There should be, if there's a memory care unit and an assisted living, there should be 2 separate activity calendars.
Right.
Because memory care is geared towards a different level.
Yep, memory care has their own, assisted living has their own. But yet assisted living still goes out in the community, and so does memory care. We try to get everybody to do all different things.
We do.
So
we invite our memory care people to come to all our parties. Their families come to all our parties. It's nice. They're nice, and we have a good time.
We've had, the last few parties we've had a lot of outsiders come in.
We did.
So it's been really nice to see different faces that come to our events. And I know the food keeps coming and making them come back because, every party that we have, Kevin always goes above and beyond with his selection of food. We just had a meeting with him about the carnival, and he brought, a lot of good ideas to the table. So.
And one thing we know not to do, 2 days before these parties, we don't bother the chef.
Right. He's got enough to do.
He's got enough to do, and we kind of learned to stay away, right?
Yep. I was just thinking about how you were saying we try to go above and beyond with the residents. On Friday, I saw one of our little residents going behind the sandbar, and she was putting her special beer in the little fridge that we have back there. About. So when I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I've got to put my special beer that I have in there. Joe knows that I'm back there." I said, "All right, no problem." But
she was the story is she lives up on the 2nd floor. She walks with a walker, and she came in my office and she goes, she says, "I've been going because I don't like your beer." So I said, "Okay, you don't like my beer?" She says, "So I go upstairs and I get my beer and I come downstairs and I sit at the sandbar with Michael and the residents to have my beer."
BYOB kind of thing.
Yeah. And she does. It was wrapped up in a paper bag, and then it was wrapped up in a plastic bag, and I saw it on the shelf.
So I got with Michael and I said, "Michael, how about we just store her beer in our refrigerator so she doesn't have to go up and then come back down and do all that."
Yeah.
So that's what we do now for her.
So funny.
Yeah, because she doesn't like our beer.
Okay.
Nope. So funny. She's funny.
So you should have microbrew day then.
That would be nice.
Well, when did we have our Oktoberfest?
Yes.
Remember that? We had 12 different kind of beers that you could taste.
We had beer tasting. That was fun.
Yeah, I don't care for beer, but there were so many
different flavors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that they made all those different kinds.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a good time. And a lot of outside people came to that party as well.
Yes.
I think now we're known in the community for having parties. So there's always a lot of people that show up,
and
which is good.
More. So again, if you want to come to our parties, you can call 332-1000. The receptionist can let you know which ones are coming up. And also you can RSVP to anyone you want. And the more the merrier is how we feel. We just like doing this kind of things.
Yep.
So going back to the tours again.
You're a good tourer, I have to say.
You think so?
Yep.
I
and
hope
Debbie,
so.
Your assistant, she
Debbie
does good. She does a good job as well.
Anybody in our building, any department head, even a nurse, anybody can actually do a tour.
I've toured a few times.
And that's by design, because if I'm not there, or if I'm doing another tour, or if Debbie's doing a tour, We'd like to make sure that other people are able to do it and have knowledge of the building too, and that should be anywhere.
I've seen our receptionist do a couple tours.
Yes.
So I think it's good sometimes when they see other people other than you.
That's right.
You know, it's nice to see that they know that we all know.
That's right.
You know what goes on in that building.
That's right. And they should be able to answer same questions that I can or that you can, and that's the way. And that's, again, I keep saying it, but anywhere you go, these are the things that you should look for. I hate to give away trade secrets, but
that's okay. Did you happen to see the picture of you on Facebook?
Oh, with Calvin?
The latest one. We had some miniature ponies that came through, and all they did was just walk through the community. And, you know, she greeted everybody, and now you're on Facebook. And
I saw that.
See?
With Calvin.
Not only do you tour, but...
Some of them are very little.
This
I mean,
one,
I was very surprised.
He was tiny.
I wasn't there. I didn't get to see him.
Oh, you weren't there?
No.
Yeah.
And he was cute. He had blue eyes. Just a beautiful...
Yeah, I saw one years ago at a hospital, inside at a hospital, children's hospital, with tennis shoes.
Yeah, well,
he had
this
little
one
pony,
had little shoes on.
Little pony tennis shoes.
He had little boots on, and,
Yeah.
and somebody on Facebook commented if I had to pick up the poop too, and I said no because he had a bag. So if he pooped,
well,
it
because
would...
they actually they took him on the elevator and
they
brought
did.
him upstairs into memory care, and I was amazed that the horse could go on the elevator. And this little pony got on the elevator and went upstairs and walked around that community. And
I have to ask the residents.
Oh, they
loved it.
Yeah. They didn't. Something. You know, I try to get different things, and they really did enjoy that. They couldn't believe that there was a little pony in the building.
We've had dogs.
We've had dogs.
Right, the Humane Societies.
Yep, the Humane Society comes in, and plus we have our in-house dog, Scooter, who everybody knows now. Because you can have animals.
Yep, we allow pets 25 pounds or less, and you have to be able to take care of them. As long as you're able to take care of them.
There's no cats though at our place.
We used to have a cat.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It didn't last.
She moved up to independent care with her cat.
So now we just have one little tiny dog.
We had a cat. We almost had guinea pigs.
Oh.
We almost had a lady move in, but she didn't. She decided not to. But we were going to allow guinea pigs.
Oh.
Yeah.
As long as you could take care of them.
Yep, as long as you can. And Scooter runs the show.
Oh.
He's a little Shih Tzu, and he owns the place.
He's a trip.
Yeah.
He knows. He walks around there like he owns the place.
So again, any questions for us about anything, or if you're going on a tour, or if you need to go on a tour, 772-340-1590. You can call in.
Number.
And our number at our facility is 772-332-1000. We're located at 1537 Northeast Cedar Street in Jensen Beach. Anybody's welcome to come by, try our food, try anything, try our cookies at the sandbar. Come during happy hour, listen to Jennifer sing. She'll sing a special song. She does do requests.
How many units do you have, and are you
we
have availability?
We do have in assisted living. We have maybe 5 or 6 rooms left, and in memory care we have about 20 left. Memory care is 53 units. And up there, it's secured. It's like a miniature assisted living. It has its own dining room. It has its own activity area. Has its own courtyard.
Has its own beauty salon.
Its own beauty salon. Its own doctor's office. So
laundry
that's really
room.
nice up there. And our assisted living, we have a beauty salon. We have activities.
I would think though you'd have the staff at the memory care is a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's probably not as.
It's a
open.
little bit more. I don't want to say homey or, but it's a little bit more structured upstairs.
It's a higher level of care.
Sure.
So it is more structured. It's smaller by design. It's not as vast, and the care is higher. And there's nurses up there, CNAs up there. Too. Jennifer's girls are CNAs.
And what's a good thing too is when you're touring people and you come up to the community upstairs. I know my girls, they're there to greet you at the door, and
Yes, they are.
everybody's, hey, nice to have you,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
they go out of their way, so it's really nice.
So we have Judy on the phone. Hi, Judy.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good. Is this the same Judy?
Yeah, only Judy I know right now.
Well, welcome to the show.
I just turned the radio on, and we listen to 1590 all the time, but we had other things to do this morning. But what facility are you affiliated with? I seriously, I just turned it on. It really doesn't matter. I just want to know.
We're the Cabanas at Jensen Dunes in Jensen Beach.
Oh, good. Okay, great. That's new, right?
We're about a year and a half old.
Right.
Are you familiar with Jensen Beach?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, we're right off of Savannah Road.
Okay, great. Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly where you are. We're in Sandpiper Bay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. What I wanted to talk to you about or recommend, I know I believe that you take your residents to activities in the little buses.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Have you ever been to the military museum in Stewart?
No, but I have planned now that because you called last week and you mentioned it, and I
you
do
were the
have,
one I talked to.
Yes.
Oh, great.
And I do have.
And I felt so badly that I didn't give you more information.
That's okay. I have the flyers on my desk actually, and we're trying to get out there by the end of the month because they're only open on Saturdays.
And the docents there, Carl, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name that we actually know him really well, but I can't remember his name, and it sounds awful at his age. But they'll be just thrilled to have you come and these people know everything about every weapon, every battle, every conflict, and my bad stuff is there from the Sea Beast in the South Pacific, yeah. And that's where we
Is it kind of like the Navy SEALs up in Fort Pierce? Kind of along the same lines?
They don't have as much money. Yeah. But these people are wonderful, and in many ways.
Okay.
And we had the gracious opportunity a few years ago to hear Captain Phillips when he was there. From the when his boat was overtaken.
The Maersk in I remember that. Yeah.
Maersk, Alabama, wasn't it?
Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah. But you've got to take these people down there, and they would be so honored to treat you so well.
Well, we are definitely going to go, Judy, and then I'm going to take a lot of pictures and I'm going to put it on our website so you can go back and say, "Oh, look at they went."
No, we don't. He doesn't like that facials.
Well, you have a pretty full March schedule right now.
We do. Yeah, I try to keep them busy.
I just wanted to make sure I followed up, and I didn't realize I was talking to the same people.
Oh, yeah. No, don't worry.
They'll love it.
I'm sure that they will.
They will. Thank you so
much.
Well,
thank you, Judy.
Thanks for calling, Judy.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
340-1590, the number here at the station. Questions, comments, give us a call. Yeah, you do have a pretty busy March schedule.
We do. And, sometimes I keep them so busy that they don't know.
Tired.
Yeah, they get tired. And then I go knocking on doors, and I'm like, "Hey, are you coming?" And they're like, "Coming to what?" I'm like, "What? You forgot." So, we just had a lecture the other day on octopus. And it was very informative. And there was about 9 residents that came to it. And after everything was said and done, I could hear them at the sandbar, a bunch of ladies that were there, and they were talking about it. And even they were saying, "Boy, I didn't know that. Did you know that?" And, so there's always something that's going on.
So there were some that were sad they missed the lecture.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know about it." I said, "Well, I told everybody. I came knocking." And so,
And again, this is the kind of thing that we do. We add things. Jennifer is good for adding things. If somebody like Judy called and recommended something and it sounds like a great idea for our residents,
I try to plug it in.
This is what we do. We've even had parties at night.
party's at night.
I even
have...
The sock hop was at night.
Oh, the sock hop was great.
So we try to end it at 8 because that's a little past their bedtime.
Yeah.
But
They get tired about 7 o'clock. I'm pushing it till 8, you know. I was just going to say something. Yeah.
Well, your Starry Night is an
that's an evening event. You know, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to be nice because it's outside, and whenever we have music outside in that courtyard, it's really nice. So I'm hoping that goes well. And we have a beautiful fire pit too that'll be lit. So and then we have a luau at the end of the month, and that's going to be fun too because we'll have tiki torches all in the back and.
And that's, we have, last week, if I mentioned it, we have a lady that was in an Elvis movie.
Yeah.
That lives with us.
Right. She carries around
Paradise
that.
Hawaiian style.
She carries around that picture of him and her proudly.
Yes.
And, and she actually teaches, she has a dance class today. Every Monday now before the luau, she's getting our other residents ready. She teaches a dance class and she does the hula.
So we're going to ask them to perform at our luau.
Yeah.
Grass skirts and all?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has all, she has everything. She even has the instruments that they used on the set of that movie, you know, and geez, that was a while ago, that movie. But we pulled it up on YouTube, and we were watching it at the sandbar, and she was like showing us what dancer she was in the movie. So
it's amazing.
Yeah,
was
that was like, there I am.
Yeah.
But I've never met anybody that met Elvis, so it was
she
cool
loved
to
him
talk
too.
with her.
Yeah.
So.
But these are things, again, I keep saying it, but that we do, and that can be done at, should be done. I always say if we can do it, why can't everybody else do it? There's nothing more, I don't know the word, sad, I guess, for when I hear residents come or potential residents when they're at another facility and they're saying, they're complaining, well, they don't do this and they don't do that. Do you guys do this and do you guys do that? And the answer is always yes.
Right.
And then I say, I don't know why they don't do it.
Yeah. Any ideas that they come up with, we have a meeting once a month with the residents, and it's a resident planning meeting, and they'll bring ideas to me, and we try to make it happen. We have people now that want to play bridge, so now we're trying to get a bridge club together or a pinochle club. So
we even have a food committee with residents, and they make suggestions to the chef.
And he follows through with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that there could be like a generational thing too, because they're elderly. They grew up with different things than maybe the chef is. I'm sure if he's still working, he's younger.
Right.
much younger than the residents.
I think he's even actually taken some of their recipes and made it.
Yes.
So I know we tried to make maple syrup at the sandbar the other day, and it was just too funny. But we had a resident that she was from Vermont. She used to tap the trees, and she used to do all of that. So I said, well, why don't we make it? And we went and we got all the stuff and we tried to make maple syrup at the sandbar, but
tap the palm trees.
Yeah, didn't get anything out of the trees, but it was a lot of fun trying. We laughed a lot at that sandbar because we had to boil it and we overboiled it, and when we went to pour it, it just turned back into sugar. So I think we laughed more than anything.
You made candy.
We made maple candy.
There you
go. And they ate it. It was still good. So.
Yep.
But. We do try to make everybody happy. We that's one of our things. We try to go out of our way for everybody. So, and that makes it a good place. I never hear any complaints that everybody's pretty much happy. We really try.
And there's all different kinds of people. There's all different kind of personalities. There's all different financial classes. There's all different taste buds. There's all anything. There's some people that like to sleep till 12 o'clock because they're up all night because they're in pain all night. So we have to understand what they are. I mean, right now we have 107 people. So we have to know 107 people, especially Jennifer. I don't know how she does it, but she does.
We have a man that moved to us, and he was used to going out and doing laps in his pool every day. And he was worried when he came to us that he wouldn't be able to continue doing his, swimming every day. But he does. Now he goes out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and he does his laps in the pool. And, he's glad that he could keep that going when he came to us. So
we have another guy, when he came for his tour with his daughter, first thing he said to me, can I walk? And I said, sure. He says, no, can I walk outside? I said, sure, we have paths. We have cement paths. We have all around the building. And that man walks at least 10 times a day. He like 3 times before breakfast, 3 times.
I see him in the stairwell. Like, I don't take the elevator.
He doesn't
take the stairs.
He walks the stairs.
He comes down the stairs. I'm like, hey, look at you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So these are all different things that, not everybody walks, but he does, and that's what he enjoyed. And yes, you can do it. So these are all questions. When you're touring, don't be afraid to ask what you want.
We also had a gentleman that just had a birthday, and his family wanted to have a special dinner. So we have 2 private dining rooms, and as long as they reserved it, they can have, up to how many people in that big dining room?
20.
20.
Yeah.
And we just, made the room pretty with balloons, and, the chef made sure that the food was, whatever they needed. And so there's still a lot that they can.
So family and friends were able to gather.
Yes.
And
it
have
was great.
Yeah, special occasions. We have a lot of people come in from out of town, and they want to have a private meal with their family. Sure, we'll set it up for you. And they can bring in food. They can eat off the menu. Or Kevin, our chef, will say, well, what do they want? And they can order. He'll make whatever they want for them for that special occasion.
Great.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice the way that goes.
It is.
So the point is again, you get whatever you want pretty much at the dunes, right? As long as it's within reason.
Reasonable. Yeah.
And it should be that way wherever you go. Remember your 5 senses when you tour. Seeing, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Use them on your tour, and don't ever be afraid to ask questions.
Right. Asking questions is important.
And tell them what you want, and if they can't accommodate, then find some place they can. That's the easy way to do that.
Keep touring.
Yes, keep touring, keep going.
But you would hope after they come to our place, that would be the last place that they're
going
to want to look at, right?
It usually is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come in and they'll say, they'll start with, we have 3 other places to go to. I say, good, you should. By the time they leave, they say, we're not going to those other places.
And that's because when they've walked around the community, they've seen all the interactions, all the positiveness that's in that building. Because there is, like I said before, when you walk in there, you just get that homey feeling. Everybody greets everybody, and it's just it's a great place. So I'm looking forward to you getting that building full of more people.
I mean, I'm thinking good food, activities planned. It's like being on a cruise.
Right. And it's a beautiful building. It looks like a resort, or a beautiful hotel when you walk in there.
We hear all the time land cruise. I hear that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a land
so
cruise.
So it's not just me.
No, we do hear that. It's funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's the design.
Yeah,
when
it
you
is
think
nice.
about it. It's the Key West style.
And we're kind of set back up, in the back. So
resort living, and you do laundry too.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I move in?
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And we'll clean your room.
So the Cabana at Jensen Dunes, give us the location one more time because we are running out of time.
1537 Northeast Cedar Street, Jensen Beach, 34957. East on Jensen Beach Boulevard, south on Savannah, then east on Cedar, and on the left when you get to the end of Cedar Street.
And, of course, grab a cup of coffee next week, Monday, and have coffee
and sit by and,
at the Cabana right here on WPSL.
Get ready for your trivia question.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.